Good day, gentle people. It's your favorite Mr. 482. Welcome back to my channel. The date is March 22nd, 2021, and I've just uploaded my first debunking video. Although this channel was created in 2016, and there have been some videos before, that upload sets the date for the debunking anniversary. To celebrate the occasion, I'm gonna take you back to a few of the first videos. Most of these only have a few dozen views, which is pretty normal for a small channel, so sit back and enjoy. Before I share the good news, let's see what happened before.
Do you really need this? What do you want to do? Post it for you? How about that? Good. I think I'll get real close to you and cough on you then. How's that?
Oh,
asshole.
Wow. No. No. No way.
Let's go.
That is just a terrible thing to do, pandemic or not. So what is the good news, you ask? Let me tell you. She got convicted to 30 days in jail, a $500 fine, 6 months probation, and she must undergo a mental health evaluation along with anger management. Justice has been served. It's King's Day. This is a national holiday in the Kingdom of the Netherlands, marking the birth of the king, Willem-Alexander. That is this man, by the way.
Dus het midden alsjeblieft. Even naar boven alsjeblieft. Even deze alsjeblieft. Deze alsjeblieft. En nog even recht vooruit alsjeblieft. En even deze alsjeblieft. En de laatste hier alsjeblieft. Hier deze. Maar goed, heel veel dank ook.
So, King's Day. What does that mean? Well, nothing, because of the current pandemic we're in. Right, Amsterdam? Surely that must be an incident. Let's take a look at the local park. And action! So, after seeing all this, here's my travel advice for the coming weeks. Avoid the Netherlands at all costs, as the amount of cases are due to rise. Matt Powell has an inflatable banana in his backyard, which he calls Dr. Peel. Before I continue, I have a very important message.
Matt Powell has a giant inflatable banana in his backyard, which he names Dr. Peel.
Now that is out of the way, let's continue with the debate between Brian's logic.
Well, I say hello to everybody. Thanks for having me over here.
and Ranty.
Yeah, so I'm Ranty, and I used to be a flat earther.
In this debate, we were introduced to a new term.
Optical drop
Please explain what it is.
is a name that me and Flatside and some other people in the flat earth community have given that effect, but that's a real effect. It's not something I've made up. I physically showed it. I can detail it. I can describe how it happens. I can show how it happens in real world and real world observations that show it. And it's a constant thing that people don't think about. It is angular. It is due to angular size, but it's not the angular size. Angular size is one effect, whereas optical drop is the effect of something changing in angular size to the point where it actually will go below your. Well, it won't actually go below your center eye line. It only gives the impression of doing it. So it's only apparent. It's not real. The thing's not getting. It's actually not going down below your center eye line. It just gives that impression.
Okay, do you have a citation for that?
So I am the citation. I asked if I move back this mountain here 1 foot to the left, and I kept this line of sight in the red one here, this red one, if I kept that going at the same angle it's going, and I move this mountain back 1 foot, right? Scale it back, if it could make this diagram bigger and move it back 1 foot, then would this line of sight go over the top of the mountain?
Sure, Brian. Let's move the whole mountain range so the observation matches your fake flat earth. The more he was proven wrong, the more frustrated he became.
No, it's totally been fudged. What you just said there was total lies. You have just gone over back to your belief. Well, you came out with a photograph in a presentation. It's funny how you're very dishonest about what you do. What I needed, Katz, was to be able to address Ranty with all these rubbish. So his calculation means absolutely nothing. You've told lies throughout this. Completely corrupt.
Brian, what does the...
I don't accept anything you're doing. It's totally corrupt.
Shouting doesn't make you right.
One question
and
at a time.
talking over me doesn't make you right.
That is not how you run a debate.
Okay, Brian, that is not how you run a debate. What did you want to do?
I don't know. Waffle on and waffle on and waffle on.
Okay, Ranty, and what was your goal?
I'm just going to destroy your argument right now.
Yeah, but you don't. You see it. Yeah, but you.
Needless to say, Brian had nothing. Ranty set a trap, the flat earthers fell for it, and Ranty went in for the kill. I will let him explain.
Well, here's the thing, yeah. I planned some of this out, to be fair. I planned what was going to happen and how it worked out. For instance, I spoke to Katz before, and I said I'm going to put out this information about, I want to stick to this target. This is what I want to talk about. I'm not going to concentrate on the left-hand side. Adam Meakin went ahead and he put a video out looking like Star Wars, saying, this is all the conditions that he's putting in, and he doesn't want a fair debate and shit like this, right? And what happened was Nathan Oakley started parroting that on his channel, saying, doesn't want a fair debate, doesn't want, and I'm like, yeah, you just walked right into my trap, because it's just showing you up now, Nathan, because you don't have a fair debate over there. If you want to talk about fair debates, you've just opened the floodgates, mate. I said to Brian, I says, we're not going to talk about the left-hand side, because I specifically made a point. We are not going to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. I'm not interested. So that it would drum up a lot of interest in the flat earthers side and get Nathan speaking about it, saying the left-hand side is where all the proof is. It's where all the proof is. And literally walked right into my trap. Literally what I wanted them to do, they did, and then I was prepared for it. There's nothing that they could have brought today that I wasn't ready for.
And he finished it off with a headshot. We end this news report with some of the conclusions. Here's Conspiracy Cats and Mr. 42. That's me.
He's still wrong in every single thing he says.
Still a dumb fuck.
And a final conclusion from FTFE.
I mean, I'm pretty sure I just watched 4.5 hours of him going nuh-uh.
Today we're gonna watch some random outrages of shopping Karens. Here's the first one.
Yep. And it'd be like if you said that she couldn't shop in the store without taking off her hijab.
Ma'am, no, it's our company policy that you have to have your mask on.
It doesn't matter. Your policy is below the law, is below the Constitution, is below my rights.
No, Karen, the only right you have is to obey their rules or get the hell out of there.
This is a private company, so we have our
doing,
rules.
And you're doing a public accommodation. So by those terms, as a public accommodation, you have to treat me the same as you deny like somebody that was coming in with a wheelchair. No, I have to have the same rights as a wheelchair person or a religious person.
Yeah, Karen, you're right. You do have the same rights as a wheelchair person or a religious person. They all have to wear a fucking mask.
We're just trying to protect you and the customers around.
Just check me out. Otherwise, I'm going to get the sheriff on the line. I'm not joking.
Go ahead.
You can look at this. You can look and see what I have. This is my civil rights, the same as her civil rights, the same as a person who, if they were to come in a
Here's our
wheelchair.
policy.
I have a medical exemption and a religious exemption.
And suddenly she has a medical exemption. The uploader also had a second part.
You have the right to decline anything.
Well, we're not checking her out, so she's not gonna purchase anything here.
Good for you, Zuba 2001. You're doing a wonderful job. Next up, we have a small clip from the MAGA men.
We know who you voted for, all right?
Do y'all see this, y'all? Do y'all see this? I got 8 Costco employees. Is anybody tired of this tyranny? You love tyranny. You love tyranny. You get out. You get out. You get out.
I bet that wasn't the answer he was waiting for.
In 6 months or a year from now, you're going to be looking for people like me to stand for you. That's right. Where's the men at? Where's the freaking men at that will stand for your liberty? Where's the men that will stand for liberty once again?
What he of course doesn't realize is that it is people like himself that is causing the pandemic to last as long as it does already. He is part of the problem, not the solution. You know what? I don't want to do this. I already have a bad mood. I don't need Karens or Covidiots or whatever. Let's just watch some other movies or clips or whatever. Yeah, I'm done. Okay, not exactly what I had in mind. You know what? It did make my mood a little bit better. One more Karen story, and then it's over.
Illiterate Karen story. Not mine, but a coworker, who is also a manager. Fucking hilarious. We have decals on our windows and doors, promoting what we're selling. This month, it's a sandwich.
I thought this was a family establishment.
Yes, ma'am.
Why does it say penis everywhere?
I'm sorry, what? Where?
It's on the door.
Ma'am?
It says penis.
Ma'am? It says panini. It's a sandwich. Oh.
Is this floor level or wonky and covered in dips and bulges and curves?
The image alone does not contain enough information to answer that question.
This is another similar one where we have the appearance of a dip. It's just an optical illusion.
Yes, it is an optical illusion, but from the image alone you would not be able to tell. You need more information to make that determination.
Now this might look a little bit different to what you normally see because all I've done is move the azimuth point, the center point of our projection, to be over Africa. Now it still maintains its original azimuth as the North Pole and the South Pole down here, but you can see it's drawn everything together with these curvy lines based on where I've put the azimuth there. And so we get this illusion of curvature. But just as we saw with the floors just now, just because we have lines that converge or diverge to a particular point, it doesn't mean that the surface is actually curved.
You are correct. The lines just by themselves mean absolutely nothing and don't prove anything. But you're forgetting something very important. People can travel and visit those places and they can do measurements. If you were to visit a location in your first image, you could physically measure this line and this line, just 2 examples. You would not only find that they are not the same length, they are also not parallel, therefore causing the illusion. And the same for your second image. If you were to measure this square and this square, you will find that they are physically very differently shaped. In this azimuthal map, however, that is a different story. Measurements in the real world will show that scale decreases with the distance from the center along the radii and increases from the center perpendicularly to the radii, with the final conclusion that this representation is not an illusion.
So that's why it's pointless to point at a map representing the same lines of longitude and latitude that are used for a globe projection as some kind of proof of the actual shape of the Earth.
The lines are based on measurements. The measurements are the proof, but you choose to ignore those.
Regardless of what you assume came first, we've seen just now that you get this impression of curvature on a flat surface simply by putting wavy lines or converging or diverging lines on that surface. And all of a sudden we believe that the flat surface is actually curved.
Some lines are curved, causing an illusion. Therefore all lines that are curved are causing an illusion. That is your fake argument. This Jaguar F-Type is being loaded onto a truck and something doesn't go as planned. That's extremely painful to watch, so much damage. The guy in the next clip is also not paying attention, but in another way. That is so annoying when it happens. It gives stress, and what do you need against stress? Maybe a fidget spinner. I'm not quite sure what to make of that. Is it good? Is it bad? I just know for sure it is useless. Let's see a Karen clip.
Over your nose then if you're gonna wear a mask. Yeah, do that, slave.
Now put
Be
it
a
down.
good slave.
Put it down.
Be a good slave.
Now put it down. Now go.
Oh, I need 20 and pump too.
Well, you ain't gonna get service here. If you don't want to wear the mask, then don't. Go on.
Look at this guy, Nazi. This is a Nazi. This is a modern day fascist right here. You're disgusting, dude. This is how you treat your customers?
Yeah. No, just go ahead. Go on.
Pathetic, dude.
Go on.
There you go.
Fight!
I know you didn't I know you didn't just sit on
Elon Musk is an actor and he's lying. Leo will prove it to you.
Today I'm going to get to know the space genius Elon Musk a little bit better. I've got 2 clips of him speaking, and then I've got a 3rd clip which kind of highlights why we get a difference in Elon. On one hand, Elon can be a smooth talking, confident man who articulates himself incredibly well and oozes confidence. Yet on the other hand, Elon can be exactly the opposite. Unconfident, muttering and stuttering, almost embarrassed by what he's saying and what he's part of. These 2 different sides to Elon are very revealing, and the 3rd clip we're going to see is going to highlight why.
I think one of the biggest mistakes people generally make, and I'm guilty of it too, is wishful thinking. You know, like you want something to be true even if it isn't true. And so you ignore the things that you ignore the real truth because of what you want to be true. This is a very difficult trap to avoid.
Isn't it incredible to see how well Elon can articulate himself, how much confidence can ooze from this man?
Incredible indeed. It's almost like he did a well-prepared speech or gave an answer that he gave 1,000 times already.
And now Elon, the space genius, gone as the well-articulated, smooth-talking man that makes sense, replaced here by a babbling fool.
Yeah. Thanks, Jim. After these great words that were spoken, I'm not sure I have much to add. There's from Bob and Doug and Jim, but I do think what this heralds really is fundamentally a new era in space flight, a new era in space exploration. We're going to go to the moon. We're going to have a base on the moon. We're going to send people to Mars, and make life multiplanetary. And I think.
Listen to him and listen to how desperate these space fans and organisations are. Dear, oh dear, oh dear. Even matey behind on the right there with a mask. Look, he's looking on as if to say, have a word, Elon.
This day heralds a new age of space exploration. That's what it's all about. From people at SpaceX, people at NASA. Hey, Kathy. Hey, so much. We're 18 years. This has been 18 years to finally fly people to orbit and back. And I really came here because I just wanted to see Bob and Doug, to be totally frank. It was like, thank goodness. Like my entire adrenaline, it was just dumped, It's like, thank God. And I'm not very religious, but I prayed for this one.
Dear, oh dear, oh dear.
So just once again, thanks everyone at SpaceX, NASA, FAA, everyone, Air Force, that played a role in.
Gone is the smooth-talking, confident, well-articulated Elon, replaced by a babbling fool that looks like he's either had too many coffees or been on the Colombian marching powder.
I think that Leo might be onto something here. I'm not quite sure if Elon was indeed telling the truth. We would be more confident and not so stuttering, not thinking about his words, not be worried about his posture. Yeah. Sorry, Leo, you're right.
Clearly doesn't believe in any of this nonsense, clearly uncomfortable, clearly almost embarrassed by all of this.
Yeah, Leo, I hope you got my sarcasm.
And this is why poor old Elon becomes a babbling fool when discussing space. He's forever getting stitched up, like all the faces representatives of space. They're constantly getting stitched up in one way or another. And in this instance, Elon gets turned over by a bit of CGI space junk. And in doing so, this CGI space junk highlights the absurdity that is NASA, the ISS, SpaceX, and of course the globe. And of course reveals why Elon, when discussing space, becomes a babbling fool. Here it comes, the CGI debris interacting with the booster that had just been jettisoned, and then look, straight through the rocket, whoosh! And again, watch this, straight through Elon's rocket. Looks like a hockey puck. Straight through, here we go. Whoosh! Straight through Elon's rocket. No wonder poor old Elon's a babbling fool when he discusses this nonsense.
There's a few things I got to say about that. First of all, I don't see it interacting with anything, but that might be the limited resolution. It doesn't go through anything either. Are you even watching the same footage? Second of all, you call the debris CGI. I don't hear you say the rocket is CGI.
The debris was CGI and went straight through the rocket.
Why would they bother CGI debris? What is your logic behind that? You are an idiot.
Babbling fool.
Sure, if you insist, you are representing Flat Earth.
Who'd want to represent this nonsense?
Well, you apparently. What do you believe in anyway?
The globe.
You do? Then what about Flat Earth all of a sudden?
I wouldn't want to represent that charade. I really wouldn't. And of course, as we know, you're constantly getting stitched up by the CGI department. This is an animation of the supposed GPS satellite network put in place in 1993 by the US military, showing how many supposed sats are visible at one point in time. Now we know this is incorrect anyway. One, because the globe's scientifically impossible.
The globe is not scientifically impossible. You're standing on one, you're living on one. Accept it.
And two, because if this was true, in this representation, i.e. satellites going around a ball, then the US military by now would have a similar system from space offering space radar.
First of all, GPS and space radar are two completely different techniques. Second of all, there are active military radar satellites. I will list them on the screen for you. Are you lying on purpose?
They don't. Which is bizarre considering the benefits not only for military but for civilian, given the amount of planes that seem to keep getting lost and never found. That in itself proves there's no radar detection from space.
You haven't proven anything. Those satellites that are in space, they're reconnaissance satellites. They are not tracking civilian airplanes.
And I'm going to show you. The US Navy is going to show you. So if this was real, what we see on our screen in the so-called GPS form of satellites going around a ball, then the US military would no doubt have a radar system in place now which protected their forces in hostile lands or at sea.
It's very easy for you to make claims. No doubt, you say. Without any evidence. Where is your evidence?
Common sense tells you that.
Your common sense fails you. Radar satellites are used for recon. The planes are used for command and control for both aerial warfare and land attack missions. That's a completely different purpose.
And of course the benefits from that go right through the ranks. Civilian, military, I mean the list goes on. And this is what gives it away. The E-2 Hawkeye and the US Navy's dependence on this 1960s propeller plane. Essentially, the US Navy's early airborne warning and control system comes from this plane. A 1960s propeller plane. You would have thought by now, if this constellation, GPS constellation was put in place in 93 and keeps getting updated supposedly, then you would have a radar constellation put in place now to protect your military. You certainly, if you're the almighty force that is the American military and all the things they've said are true, you certainly would not be relying on 1960s propeller planes as your early warning defense system for your naval fleet.
Repeat after me. GPS is not radar. Is that so hard to understand? And by the way, what's wrong with propeller planes? Do they function well? Yes, they do their job.
You'd have an early warning system of satellites which could see all round the globe. But no, they have to rely on 1960s aeroplanes as their early warning defense system. Rather revealing that.
Rather revealing your ignorance.
On all the aircraft carriers, you'll see the #1 plane that gives it away. There'll always be 4. There's 4 on every aircraft carrier, some at the other end. But that is your airborne early warning system. They're on all the aircraft carriers.
So what? They use technology that proves their function.
There's no satellites going around the ball. That's why the US Navy relies on 1960s aeroplanes as its early warning detection system at sea.
There are satellites up there, and the only thing that you are proving is that those airplanes get the information better or faster to where it's needed.
Where is it? Hawkeyes. Each Hawkeye is a flying early warning system for the carrier and air wing. Total on board, 4. So on each aircraft carrier, 4. I should imagine in hostile waters, 2 will be up in the air, doing loop-the-loops or figure eights around the fleet or whatever, providing their protection. Obviously, if they're not in the air, they're not protected, clearly.
Do you really believe those 4 airplanes are the only line of defense? Do you even hear yourself?
Because there's no satellites. There's no satellites, obviously, otherwise you wouldn't need these planes. If the GPS constellation was true, you'd have a radar constellation as well. You can fake the GPS constellation with land towers and bits and pieces. You can't fake this. Planes will keep getting lost. You'll come unstuck in hostile waters if you've not got your radar system via planes in place, because there's no obviously no radar system defense from space.
Sorry Leo, your stupidity becomes a little bit too much for me, so I asked Del to give a reaction about this.
You complete and utter fucked up!
Thanks Del.
Despite the incredible applications that would offer for civilian and military. Yeah, kind of obvious at this point, guys.
It is indeed very obvious that you have no idea what you talk about. Those satellites with the radio technology are up there, and the planes are a nice addition to that technology.
Yeehaw! Love it!
Today we're gonna have a look around the garden of this guy.
What's a crackin'? How's everybody doing out there?
Not that it's any of your business, but I'm doing fine, thank you very much. For anyone who doesn't know, that is Be The Change.
Sorry I've been a little busy. Let me show you. Oh yeah!
I don't have any green fingers and I have no idea what he's so happy about, but it must be something good.
In a world where I'm probably spinning about 700 miles an hour on a ball planting plants.
Oh shit, what did I get myself into this time?
Because I'm here in Virginia, so I'm not quite at the equator. So I'd say around 700 miles an hour.
As said many times before, rotation is not measured in miles per hour or kilometers per hour. The amount of rotation is called the angle of rotation and is measured in degrees.
A 15 degree per hour drift.
Thanks Bob.
Planting plants on a spinning water testicle rock ball shooting blasting through the universe at 32 times rifle speed.
He must be on something. Maybe mushrooms.
Or something crazy like that.
Oh, weed get. And we put up the privacy fence. Ooh, stack of wood, bunch of old concrete. Woo! Gonna edit hard, fellas. I got a couple videos to put together, just gotta do some editing. But here we go.
Let's break it down to y'all. Why pay for nasty, polluted city water that has fluoride in it? No telling what else. Rainwater fills up this, boom, runs into here, boom. That's 3.
Okay, he can count to 3.
That's 3, amigo. And then I got these mammy jammies right here. This one fill up, then this one fill up. I can close the valve, boom, 2 more.
And that is 5.
Yeah, I don't buy water. But I did get them up a little late. It ain't raining like 4 days, 5 days. I'm like, that's alright. As soon as we get a good rain this coming, I'll be straight. Alright?
Don't worry, more videos to come. And by the way, me and Nathan has 2 strikes on here that you know of. So 1 more strike, it's over.
Oh, interesting. Have you been a naughty boy?
So I started another channel, only 6 subscribers. It's called Maintain the Change.
Noted. The other day I told someone that although the belief in flat earth might be harmless, from there it is too easy to believe in other conspiracies and fake news that can be harmful to yourself and or others. Here's a perfect example.
More sheep shit. There's sheep shit out in the parking lot of Food Line. Be careful, don't step in the sheep shit.
I think we can all agree that the quality of my videos has been improving over the past year. And it's far from perfect, as I'm not a professional. I still hope you enjoyed it enough to like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. And in the description you'll find links to my Discord, Twitter and some financial support pages. This has been Mr. 482, out. Don't panic.